Hello friends of Oak Hills, this is Pastor Dale with our weekly video Touchpoint. Today is Thursday, February 20th, 2025. For our Points to Ponder article, I have an article titled, The Name of the Lord. Early in his narrative, we hear or read that Abram calls upon the name of the Lord at least twice, Genesis 12:8 and 13:4. The repetition of this activity brings to mind the Proverbs 18:10, which says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous man runs into it and is safe. In a sense, Abram is an example of living according to this proverb. I want to draw out 4 details from this proverb that will help you and me also to live out this proverb just like Abram when he called upon the name of the Lord. So number 1, faithfulness. What is the significance of the name of the Lord? This word, if you're able to look at it in text, is all caps or small caps. And this indicates that it's a specific Hebrew word used in the text for the name of the Lord. Typically, it could be translated as Yahweh. This name is tied to God's self-revelation to Moses in the burning bush. In Exodus 3:14, God declares that his name is I am who I am. The name Yahweh is a cognate of the verb to be or I am, used in Exodus 3. This unique name for God emphasizes his unchanging, unfailing character and nature. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When applied to his promises and the covenant he makes, the implication is that God will never forsake any of his promises, nor will he ever forsake his covenant people. God is faithful. When Abram calls upon the name of the Lord, he is appealing to God's faithful character. That is the bedrock foundation for his life. Abram and his faith is more like shifting sand. Number 2, strength. The metaphor of a strong tower communicates strength and protection. In a world filled with evil and with hearts that are prone to evil, where can we turn for strength and protection? That is the significance of the proverb. The name of the Lord, which represents God's faithful character, is the only true strength and protection for his people. David, the mighty warrior, acknowledges this reality when he declares in Psalm 20, verse 7. He says, quote, "Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God." End quote. After Abram attempts to protect himself when he goes down to Egypt, as we saw in Genesis 12, he learns very quickly that his own abilities fall short and are insufficient to protect himself. He then calls on the name of the Lord. Number 3, faith. Continuing with the metaphor, the proverb says, the righteous man runs into it, into the strong tower, the name of the Lord. This is a picture of faith. Now, we don't want to get hung up on the word righteous, as if this person is somehow worthy of God's favor or has earned God's favor. Habakkuk 2:4 will explain that the righteous shall live by faith. And even Abram is counted as righteous, not based upon what he does, but based upon his faith in God, as we see in Genesis 15:6. In biblical terms, the righteous person is the one who has humbled himself and trusted in the Lord alone for salvation. If he was not running to the Lord, he would not be righteous. As a picture of faith, then, running to the Lord means casting oneself on the Lord for all of one's needs. In other words, running is resting in the Lord alone. There is nowhere else to go but the Lord. And number 4, safety. This is the promise of the proverb. Resting in the Lord alone for strength and protection brings safety. Now, this is not the safety that would be celebrated in 21st century America. The American dream considers safety to be tied to wealth and financial stability and health and physical well-being and the complete absence of any kind of threat on our well-being. In contrast, in the Bible, we learn that David was completely safe even as he charged at the giant Goliath. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are completely safe even when they stand up against Nebuchadnezzar, who is about to throw them into a fiery furnace. And Daniel was completely safe when he was praying 3 times a day, even under the threat of being thrown into a lion's den. Jesus was completely safe even while he was hanging on the cross, breathing his last words. In biblical terms, safety is a spiritual reality which comes in relationship with God. Psalm 16 helps explain this. It opens with the cry, "Preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge." And the psalm ends with the assurance that the psalmist has found that safety, that refuge. He says, "You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." If physical safety is our chief aim, we probably will not run to the name of the Lord. But if we see the value of eternal safety, our spiritual safety in relationship with God and his presence, we will join Abram in calling out and running to the name of the Lord. I want to encourage you to memorize Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous man runs into it and is safe. And make it an aim for how you live and seek to live day by day, trusting in the faithfulness of the Lord as your only strength and protection to be eternally safe in his presence. A few highlights to draw your attention to this day, as February is going to be wrapping up in a month, and Lord willing, we're going to thaw out and be warmer next week. But first of all, I'll just remind you, our missionaries of the month, John and Tricia Dunning, serving with RUF on the K-State campus, seeking to serve and minister to students on that campus and reach other students with the good news of the gospel. Pray for their ministry effectiveness and discipleship of students and outreach on the campus. Secondly, I want to remind you that the elders have requested our congregation, those who call Oak Hills their church home, to provide a pledge card for their giving. So we have given pledge cards with instructions. We're asking you to prayerfully consider what you would give to the Lord by giving to the church in the year 2025. And we are asking that, in following the instructions, this will be a private decision between you and the Lord. So we're not looking at the pledge cards. We're not keeping track of how much is going to be pledged to Oak Hills. But we want this to be a spiritual discipline, encouraging our members to give cheerfully and regularly and thoughtfully and prayerfully to the church. But we are asking that you complete that card, put it in the envelope provided, seal it up, turn it in our offering box on a Sunday morning in the next couple weeks. And Jerry Owens, our administrative assistant, will collect those. She will keep track who has given the pledge card, only to be able to provide communication from the elders to those who have provided pledge cards. And she'll return the unopened envelope back to you with communication from the elders. So I encourage you to do that. And then lastly, I want to mention that we are holding a Getting Acquainted with Oak Hills luncheon on Sunday, March 9th. If you are new at Oak Hills or newer at Oak Hills and you want to learn more about our church and how we tick and what does it mean to be Presbyterian and what's our denomination like and all that, this is the lunch for you. We give an overview of our church and our history and our denomination. It is the first step in becoming a member. If you're interested in membership with our church, we talk about that as well at the luncheon. What does it mean to be a member of Oak Hills? So please RSVP to Jerry Owens. Let her know that you would like to be a part of that Sunday, March 9th for lunch immediately following a worship service, and we'll provide the food and the entertainment, so to speak, the opportunity to learn about Oak Hills. Well, thank you for joining me today for our Touchpoint. I look forward to being with you for worship. I should make note as a highlight, there is a new adult Christian education class starting this Sunday. John Harbison will be teaching on lament, considering the biblical concept of lament that we often see in the Psalms, but not only in the Psalms, elsewhere in the Scripture, and seeking to understand how this can be a regular part of the Christian life and how we relate to the Lord. Lament is part of the faith journey. So, excellent class starting this Sunday, 9:30 on Sunday morning, and classes for our children as well. So, love for you to come early, be part of that, avail yourself of that, and be part of what's going on at Oak Hills this Sunday. Well, God bless. Thank you. We'll see you soon.